here is this magazine, Latin N.Y, featuring Ruben Blades, salsa singer. I just thought of Ruben Blades, but he's dressed up. Superman, this is 1979. I believe that's right around the time the original Superman came out, probably a few months later. I think that came out in 78, the one with Christopher Reeves and everything. So we got some really cool ads in here. Most of it's related to music in some form or youth culture, younger people's culture. Here's a radio station advertisement, WLIB. And they play, wow, that's amazing. Reggae, calypso, salsa, samba, and soul. Here is salsa's perfect combination. This is brand new stuff. Tito Puente in the 70s when he was, probably right on top of everything. There's some other names in here. Obviously, Willie Colo, Ruben, I would say Blades, Hector, Lavoe. Huge name, Celia Cruz, special guest star. So these are huge names at the Radio City Music Hall. Cool ad. You can win this album, it looks like, by Mandrill. Here's the table of contents. Money Can't Buy Me Love. Interesting article. Latin N.Y needs a van. So here you can borrow, rent, or lease a van to get around. Maybe haul speakers and turntables to a gig. Here's the mail section, some interesting stuff. People wrote in. Turn on your adWLIB to Latin New York to enrich your lifestyle. No salsa in the army. Yo quiero el cuatro. Let's see, the largest selection of disco and salsa records in New York. That's cool. R&R Records in the Bronx. 2 locations. 309 Fordham Road, 796 East Tremont Avenue. I wonder if they're still there. Probably not, right? Here's some stuff. What's happening around town. Here's something. There's something with Celia Cruz there. With Celia and Pete El Conde. We're performing in Holland. Eddie Palmieri. I know that name. I've seen that name. Angel Canales Records. Okay. Some other stuff in here. For the total in Latin sound experience. This is a recording studio. You can go and make your disco or salsa hit. And in just a few years, probably freestyle hit. Or maybe around this time or coming up soon, electro kind of stuff. Siembra. So here's LP picks that they're looking at. Looks like a lot of Latin kind of music. Latin percussion. Las Antillas, unisex hairstyles. So I think that just simply means that you serve both men and women. Little cartoon in there. Disco news. Now this when I saw this reminded me of a magazine out of New York called, it used to be called DMR, Dance Music Report. And they featured, at the time that I was reading it, they featured house music and dance music and Euro and stuff like that. But the older issues would talk about disco. And they'd review records that were coming out. Here's some stuff. As you see, they're going to look. And then On the Rise. Here's an On the Rise section. I don't know many of these. I know that Gonzalez haven't stopped dancing yet. Voyage, souvenirs. I don't know this MFSB orchestra one, T Connection. I think At Midnight. So these were up and coming ones. It's amazing when you go back and listen to a radio station how many songs come and go and just don't stick around in the mind of the people as much. Here's Top Sellers. This is courtesy of R&R. I think we saw an ad for them earlier. And look at that on disco. I Will Survive is a top seller in 1979. Le Freak by Chic. You Stepped Into My Life. So those two, number 1 and number 2, and number 5, Got to Be Real. Those are just giant songs. Now That We Found Love by Third World, of course, sampled by Heavy D and the Boys. Contact, Edwin Starr. That's one that's remained around. Chase, Midnight Express. They say Midnight Express. It's actually Giorgio Moroder who did that soundtrack. And he did Donna Summer and everything. La Clave. So I don't know any of these. Hector, I mean, I know these names. Hector Lavoe and so on, some of them. So they have this. Here's Hot Tracks on Wax, Village People. And they go into some of the stuff that's going on. Here's what they reviewed. Chase, Giorgio Moroder, as I said. Theme from Midnight Express. They used to play that in the beginning of Coast to Coast, the Art Bell show. You might know it from that if you don't know it. Le Freak by Chic. They talk about MacArthur Park, Donna Summer, YMCA, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Don't know that. Love Vibrations. Fly Away, Voyage, Voyage. That must be the LP because it's got souvenirs on it. Yeah, great. Kind of like artsy disco. Gino Socio is kind of like that. Say Chic by Chic. Okay, that had Everybody Dance on it, as well as I Want Your Love. That's probably my favorite song by them. Tender Is the Night. So, and here's an ad for Midnight Express that the theme from, done by Giorgio Moroder. Here's an article of this group, Mandrill. Salsa Disco Life interviews, Channel J. Looks like they're pushing a show. I don't see a radio station here. Channel J, maybe that is like a public access cable channel. Luis Perico Ortiz debuts at the Corso. Perico, that means parrot. I know that. Sometimes they used to use that term for somebody that enjoyed white powder. Lincoln Center bombed, but the band played on. Here's a Sunday salsa show on WRVR. I say salsa, you know. I know it's salsa. Salsa. A lot of people in New York, including Puerto Ricans, you'd hear them calling it salsa. Festival of Drums. Where we got Tito Puente again. Salsa in boxing. The Post attacks. So the New York Post made an attack on Puerto Ricans. Wonder what they said. And here's something on Superman, the movie. Look at that. Is it too hot to handle? So kind of a social type of article, as well as this one. This reminds me of a Crumb drawing. What's his name? R. Crumb. There's a really great documentary on him. He drew these cartoons in the 70s and 80s. The Best of Salsa. Here's an ad for a radio station. Oh, they have it in Spanish. Oh, and here it is. The rest of the magazine is, I guess, written in Spanish here. Here's a beer I don't know about. Tigre. La cerveza que usted se ha ganado. I think that means the beer that you deserve, that you earned. So some, and then more stuff. There's an article on Ruben Blades, San Juan's #1 radio station. Here's something on merengue. Again, this part of the magazine's in Spanish. Radio Rock, San Juan, advertisement for a radio station in Puerto Rico. Club 82. Another one with this guy, Luis Perico. But you see these advertisements for nightclubs around New York. Salsa. I wonder if that's owned by the record label. Looking for something that might be one that we've all heard of. Top salsa hits. Top disco hits. Okay. Now looks like at some point we got back to the English. Looks like astrology stuff. Fleur de lis caterers.